Hey there, superstars. Welcome to the party. We are live with a Q&A with Frank Shankowitz, the founder and creator of the Make-A-Wish Foundation. He's got a movie on Netflix, a best-selling book, and some really fun projects that we're going to be sharing with you. So let's get started.
Here first from Ty Lopez. This is Manny Lopez. No, we're not related. Brother from another mother.
Hey, Manny, they leaving the money out. What are they doing? You guys that are orphans and you want to get your money right so that you can be a CEO.
You have something special. You have greatness in you. And Manny's a great leader and a very good friend of mine. And I'm looking forward to our sharing the stage together, Manny. It's time.
It's time. Always remember that you are too blessed to be stressed.
Thanks, Manny. Be great.
Travel around the world and we go to these entrepreneur events, and hundreds of them that we've been to, hundreds of them that we've been on their stage, and they're all about selling. They're all about making money. They're all about collecting fame, blowing up on social media. But the reason why we wanted to take this one, we were trying to do anything in our power to make this happen, to get this event, is because of that word right
Serve.
there. And that's serve. So let's give it up for Manny and the entire team for
All right, we are live. Frank, welcome to the show. Super excited to have you. We got even the hat joining the party.
You got the hat. And thank you for the invite, Manny. It's a shame we have to do this virtually. I always enjoy being in person with your crowd. So much interaction during and after.
Yeah, I love the fun part of just being able to see the stories, the faces of the people that you've inspired. I mean, every time you are gracing a stage, half the room's in tears. So, I mean, there's always somebody you've impacted with your movement. And in case you don't know, this is one of the founders and the creator of the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So if you know somebody who has been touched by the Make-A-Wish Foundation, put it in the comments. We want to give some shout outs. So let's get this going. Frank, what got you to kind of begin this journey? I mean, there's been a movie made about this. It's on Netflix called Wishman. But tell me, for people who haven't watched it just yet, give us the premise behind your story.
Well, it goes back to 1980 when we started the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And just the brief story, I was a motorcycle officer with the Arizona Highway Patrol during that period. And during that period, there was a very popular TV show called Chips, which was about the adventures of two California Highway Patrol motorcycle officers, Ponch and John, and very popular with the young kids. And we initially trained with California Highway Patrol. Our uniforms were almost identical, except obviously ours said Arizona. Our equipment was identical. And our department received a call from a friend of a family about a 7-year-old boy named Chris, who unfortunately had terminal leukemia and only a few weeks to live. And they advised that Chris's heroes were Ponch and John from Chips. And he told his mother, when I grow up, I want to be a motorcycle officer just like Ponch and John. And a friend of the family asked, is there any way he could meet one of the motorcycle officers? And our department chose me to be the motorcycle officer that he would meet. Now, I had never met this little boy before, but with permission of his doctors, his mother, we were able to pick him up at our state police helicopter at his hospital, fly him to our headquarters building in Phoenix, where I was standing by with the motorcycle. Now, again, I had no idea what to expect, Manny. This helicopter comes in. I thought our paramedics are going to help him out. This boy just came off IVs. Door opens up, little red pair of sneakers, jumps out, runs over to that motorcycle. Hi, I'm Chris. He is just laughing and giggling and having the greatest time. And I look at his mother and she's crying. Why is she crying? Then it dawned on me, she has her 7-year-old back. He's not laying in a hospital bed. He's having fun like a 7-year-old should. And Chris went on that day to become the first and only honorary Highway Patrol motorcycle officer at that date in the history of the patrol, complete with a custom-made uniform we had made for him, his own badge, which is assigned to him today. But more important to him is motorcycle wings that we wear in our uniform that made him a full police motorcycle officer. And unfortunately, a couple days later, Chris passed away. And our commanders learned that he was going to be buried in a little town in Kewanee, Illinois, about 180 miles southwest of Chicago, and said, we have lost a fellow officer. We would like you and your partner to go back to Kewanee and give him a full police funeral, which we did. Now, these are the days before internet, cell phones. I know that's hard to believe. Even computers were still typewriters back then. But the press picked us up. And when we landed in O'Hare, we were met by the major networks, ABC, CBS, NBC, and about your mission, what are you doing? Well, they relayed the information to the Illinois State Police, the county police, the city police in that area. And when we got to the side of Kewanee, we were met by several agencies to help bury this little boy. He was buried in uniform. His grave marker reads, Chris Gracious, Arizona Trooper. But flying home, Manny, I just started thinking, his little boy had a wish, and we made it happen. Why can't we do that for other children? And that's when the idea of Make-A-Wish was born, maybe 35,000 feet over Kansas or somewhere. But it was just that one little boy that inspired this whole idea. We became official in 1980, November of 1980. And since that time, we have grown to 45 international chapters on 5 continents, 62 chapters in the United States, and have granted over 500,000 wishes, which is just amazing, all because of one little boy.
Just imagine the movement you can do behind taking action on something you believe in. And, for this interview, the focus of it is this is going inside of the Manifestation School of Business. We have over 16,000 students right now that are learning how to build their own dream. They're looking at someone like Frank, who took an idea. It was just a dream, and he turned that into reality. Now 500,000 kids have been granted wishes. And just imagine the ripple effect that creates. I mean, it's just amazing the people that you're meeting across the world that have been touched. Somebody in their family was a Make-A-Wish kid. Somebody was only given months to live that ended up with years longer because of that will to survive was just sparked and inspired. Now they turned your life story into a movie that's now streaming right now on Netflix called Wishman. Give us the premise behind that. Oh, there you go. That one.
Wishman.
So that's a really awesome movie. Dorothy right here says, loved your movie, Frank. Fred says, fantastic movie. So definitely a great movie, motion picture there. But give me an idea of what kind of got you into this idea of serving. I mean, you've served in the highway patrol, you've served in your community, you've served the world now. And it kind of began in essence when you were young. I mean, you are very similar to a lot of these kids that ended up in foster care, which is our focus. We want to see, know the shirt I'm wearing. Foster kids get a trash bag and 10 minutes to pack up their lives. 2 out of 3 of these kids are ending up dead, homeless, or in jail within 1 year of aging out of our foster care system. And, with your inspiration, what would you say to kids like that maybe they don't have hope yet? They haven't seen their dream as being possible just yet.
Well, we'll go back to that foster kids because I want to tell you about what we're doing up in Seattle for foster children. But just to answer your initial question, and in the movie is a period piece, 1950 to 1980. The people that influenced me became my father figures. It just taught me ethics, integrity, character, and those traits are not inherited. They're in fact born. I mean, you have to work to get those. But again, at 10 years old, working full time, at 12 years old, my mother abandoned me. A gentleman took me under his wing, not as a foster child. In fact, there was no foster children back in 1950. There wasn't that program. You were just on your own. But gave me the tools, gave me the work ethic of how to take care of myself, and taught me. And you've heard that statement, it takes a village to raise a child. Little town I was living in, Seligman, Arizona, just off the reservation, 500 people. And when I was on my own and living with this widow lady, in fact, charged me room and board, there's no way I'm going to get in trouble because those 500 people, but especially my teachers, my coaches, everybody that gave me the work ethic, but took me under their wing. And what we're doing now in Seattle, if I can get into that, is it's called LevelUpHome Seattle. And this is a new nonprofit that, in fact, I'm the chairman of the board on this. And the website is leveluphome.org. Check it out, leveluphome.org. But we are developing group homes for foster children. And just like Manny said, when a child anywhere in the United States in a foster program turns 18, they're put out on the street. And just what Manny showed on his T-shirt. Here's a suitcase, which is generally a 50-gallon garbage bag. Put your clothes in there and you're on your own. So what we're doing is developing these homes where these kids can go into these homes. And so many haven't even finished high school yet, but they can finish their high school. They can go into college if they want to. They can go into job training from ages 18 to 23 and become, I like this new term one of our board members came up, learn how to be new adults. But to give them the stability and just to get these kids trained. Now, as for several years, and I was state police, I was a narcotics officer working undercover narcotics. And I can't tell you how many of these young kids I arrested. And, what are you doing on the street? Why are you selling this? You're only 18, 19 years old. And they finally, I'm a foster kid. Well, and I didn't understand that at the time. Well, what do you mean? He said, I got nowhere to go. I got nowhere. I'm trying to make a living. I'm trying to find some shelter. So when this came up years later to develop this Level Up Homes in Seattle, yes, I want to get involved in this. Let's help these kids.
I love it. And that's, I think with what everyone, I think when you come across what you have skills in, what your network can do, what influence you have, you just don't realize how powerful that can be to be able to create change. I mean, look what I've done. I decided, I'm going to go after the foster care system and what we need to do to fix it. I want to see 2 out of 3 of these kids not dead, homeless, or in jail. I want to see 2 out of 3 of these kids have a mentor, understand entrepreneurship, and own their own business. So I created my own school. I give it away for free. We create education like this where I bring in superstars like you to share the insights that can inspire them, be that spark to get them to take action. And that's the big power behind this. If you guys have a question, right, anybody watching right now live, put your questions in the comments. We're going to be doing shout outs. We're going to answer some of those questions for you. But go ahead, Frank, you were going to say something.
And you mentioned ripple effect. And because of the COVID thing going on right now, all nonprofits are really hurting. I mean, they can't get the money. People are trying to take care of themselves and can't give that much. But this ripple effect from Level Up Homes, we are contacted already by cities all over the nation. How can we get a chapter in our city? So once we get going, once this is all over, I think this is just going to explode. And then, like with you, helping spread that message to get this ripple effect out all over the nation. Hopefully, we'll take care of thousands of kids.
That's the plan, right? I mean, it takes a village, just like you say. We've got to be able to collaborate and be able to take our resources, combine them, and get these kids the resources they need, right? I mean, it's a simple fact that we have what we can bring to the table for these kids, and it's just letting them know it's accessible. So with your life story now, how important would you say it is to be able to find a mentor and to find a mentor early?
Oh, very important. And if it's a well-established family home, a mentor, your parents, obviously, but in your school, your teachers, your coaches, your clergy, whatever it might be, somebody that can kind of get you away from that comfort zone that you're in at home and explain to you things, how to develop that character, how to develop integrity, how to develop ethics, how to give back to your community when you can. One of the things you mentioned, how did I get in serving people? At 10 years old, like I said, working full-time washing dishes. My mother had abandoned me. And my mentor, Juan Delgadillo, who's featured in the movie, Wishman movie, I made sure we featured his character, said, Frank, when you can, give back. And I looked at him, Juan, what do you mean give back? I don't have a thing. The poor people are helping me. And he said, you don't have to have money to give back. He said, look at example of Widow Sanchez. She's always trying to bring you beans and tortillas to help you out, to feed you. Look at her front yard. It's full of weeds. It's a mess. Look at her porch. It needs sanded. It needs painted. You can do that. You don't have to have money to give back. You can give back your time. And that's something I've tried to do my whole life, which is now why I sat on 8 different nonprofit boards around the nation. I don't have the financial money to give back, but I can give back my time to develop these nonprofits.
And that's really a powerful statement right there, is time. People don't realize whether it's time, connection, resources. It doesn't always have to be writing a check. right? I mean, I've had plenty of opportunities just fall on my lap because of relationships or connecting or serving that didn't require me having to write a check to open up that opportunity or to try and fund that opportunity. What would you say? I mean, a lot of nonprofits tune into what we do and they look at you as an example of, man, if I could create an organization like Make-A-Wish, what would you say is that difference maker? What made it where you guys were able to get this global recognition and this massive reach with what you do? I mean, is there something that you would give as advice for some other people that are trying to run nonprofits or create nonprofits themselves?
Yeah, definitely. And make sure your nonprofit, the mission is about the mission and not you. I do a lot of consulting work on nonprofits, how to put them together, etc. And when people start talking to me, well, how much, during the first part of the conversation, how much salary can I take for myself? That means it's not about the mission. It's about them. And an example, I never took a salary from Make-A-Wish. All the money I wanted to go into the development of the kids to help them out, to get the wishes. And then also something that is something unique, again, with Make-A-Wish Foundation. I was so fortunate. And again, this is 1980. There was nothing like that anywhere in the United States, in the world. There was nothing like that. So it has to be a unique mission, a unique nonprofit. Look at, I'm going to cure cancer. Well, there's thousands of nonprofits in the United States that are going to help cure cancer. But what if they all came into just one instead of all that mess that's going on? I say it. And one of the things I suggest to people that want to start a nonprofit is go to charitynavigator.org.
Charitynavigator.org. Okay.
That is the watchdog for nonprofits around the United States. There are approximately 1.2 million nonprofits in the U.S. right now. Just think about that number. But you can go in alphabetical order to see if there's something you want to start a nonprofit. See if there's something similar already. Number one, you can look at that and say, you know, I might want to mirror that because I can do that better. Or I might want to partner with that group to make it grow. Again, that ripple effect that you mentioned.
I like that. That's a really awesome tip. So charitynavigator.org, you saw it there across the screen. You can always come back to the video, guys. We got this on demand, so no problem there. I want to open it up to some questions, but I've asked questions. Nobody's asking them, so I can't give anybody shout outs unless I see some questions, guys. So comment some questions. What would you like to ask the founder and creator of the Make-A-Wish Foundation? Maybe you want to ask him something about his movie on set. How did that work? Maybe you want to ask him something about maybe one of the wishes that were granted. I don't know. Think of a question you want to ask to Frank Shankwitz. We have him for about another 12 minutes. So get your questions in. I may give you a little shout out. So I'll take another question then. Frank, what size is your hat?
What size is my hat?
Yes.
7 3/8.
7 3/8. So just in case y'all want to know, 7 3/8 is that nice little hat right there. What is that hat mean to you? Because I think in the movie it had a meaning to it. Is that the same meaning? Was that Hollywood? I mean, what does the hat represent?
Well, a hat is a little bit of Hollywood as far as in the movie itself. When you go to a movie and you see based on a true story, it's not the true story. Hollywood loves to embellish quite a bit. And that's why when we started on the screenplay, in my contract, I had script approval because they had some stuff in there that was just so outlandish. But we had turned it out about 70% of the movie is, in fact, factual. But the hat, it's just as a young boy, again, I was raised in the cowboy world. I thought I was going to be a bull rider. I tried that for a couple times and decided that's not going to work. But I was always raised in the cowboy world. And then the significance of the movie about my father when reconnected, he did give me a hat back when I was a little boy. And I just thought it became a trademark, especially with the Wish kids on my speaking engagements for Make-A-Wish, the keynote speeches. They would recognize me right away. And in fact, they gave me the nickname Wish Man. We were at one event down in Phoenix area, and one of the kids happened to say, hey, here comes the Wish Man. And it kind of stuck. So if the hat's become a trademark, the name has become a trademark. But if I can tell you one quick story about Make-A-Wish, as you talk about a ripple effect, during the filming of our movie, Wish Man, I'm the technical advisor, I'm the consultant producer, I'm location scout, and I work making a movie as boring as can be. When you talk about 16, 18-hour days, you're not exaggerated at all. And every morning I would be first on the set with the script supervisor. And we would go over the script for the day. We go over the costumes. We go over the settings, the continuity, whatever it might be. Lovely young girl named Kennedy Del Toro. And the third day, she knew who I was. She knew what the movie was about. We're getting along just fine, first meeting. But the third day in, I come in, Kennedy looks at me, she starts crying, gives me a hug, and I mean big crocodile tears. Kennedy, what's wrong? What happened? I'm a wish child. You talk about emotion. And when she was 11 years old, she lived in New Mexico, Artesia, New Mexico. Her wish was to go to acting school in Hollywood, but she was too ill. In fact, they didn't think she was going to survive her life-threatening illness. At age 17, she went into total remission. The chapter said, would you still like to go to film school? Yes, I would. They sent her to Hollywood, to the school. She became more interested in the technical side instead of the acting side. And one of the instructors said, would you like to be an intern for the year as a script supervisor, which she didn't know what that was. And she said yes. Liked it halfway through the year. And she's working, in fact, on a Disney film, which was so much fun. Regular script supervisor didn't show up a couple days. The director said, she's fired, you're hired. And this young lady is all over the world now with the greatest career because of a wish.
Wow. That's the ripple effect, my friends. I mean, just think, the littlest thing could be a game changer for someone's life. You just don't know. Everyone watching right now, you have a genius inside of you. You have an ability to serve others. That's something that's easy for you, something that's exciting for you to talk about and learn about, and something you have experience with that other people cannot check off those 3 E's. It's not easy for them. It's not exciting to learn about, and they don't have experience with. Imagine teaching them something or just giving them that spark that shows them that it's possible. And look at what can happen. Somebody that thought maybe they didn't even have time on this earth and was able to find a newfound recognition of life. And so super excited, man. You just got amazing stories. But we do have a lot of questions. Let's see if we can get to some of these before our time runs out today. So let's see. The first one that pops in is from Lori. Where is the biggest need right now? Any specific city or state?
No, especially right now, nationwide. I mean, there's just so much going on. Again, there's nonprofits all over the nation. And what I like to do is it's nice when you get that great big check from a corporate, but I always like to emphasize the mom and pop checks. Mm-hmm. The $5, the $10, the $20, $25 check, just a little bit that you can give back. And those add up. Those really add up. But just whatever your favorite charity might be, check it out on Charity Navigator. Make sure the money is going to the mission, and then help out in any way you can. But also, if you've got some free time, just help out that way by volunteering.
I love it. Volunteer. Find out where is a good place for you to serve. Find things that are that important for you that you could tie your time around, because you're not going to get excited about it if you're not excited about it. So great answer there. Fred Pasimo asks, I want to start an orphanage. How would you recommend getting started?
Wow, that's a great one there. I would check with your local authorities first, because everything would have to be city, county, state approved. So I would just check with your local authorities first. And there's some gentleman I've been following on Facebook that, in fact, is starting an orphanage. And I think it's in Idaho, Montana. I can't remember. He's got an old home that he's going to convert. It's going to be fantastic, his plan. But again, he's got to get all the approval with the state agencies.
All right. So state agencies, get your local approvals, and then get started, Fred. I love the idea. All right. Dorothy Bonvillain, our warrior expert, she says, what book has made the biggest impact on your life, Frank?
Well, obviously, Wishman.
Oh, bam. There it is. It's his own book.
Look, yeah, bestseller.
There you go. I love it. Yeah, I mean, you got to be able to share your story and be able to get that out to the masses. And by having that type of impact, it allows you to, again, create that ripple effect to keep helping others. Lori asks, again, I think we have another one here from Lori. Let's see. It's not letting me click on her. Oh, no. What's going on? Let's see. There we go. Question for Frank. I'm also a contributing author to One Habit Book. What is one habit you have that has changed your life?
Oh, wow. That's a great question, Sally. Probably, and I've said this before, learning how to give back, learning how to help people. You mentioned, well, I was in the service, Air Force, started learning there, but the Highway Patrol and also detective, 42 years service on there. And that was just that whole emphasis on how to give back, how to help other people out. And that's the title of, that's the message in the movie. Everyone can be a hero. If somebody needs help, just give them a little help. So many people helped me during my whole life that I want to help giving back.
I love it. That's what you got to be about, guys. Lori asks, how can my book become a movie? You were able to do that. How did you do it, Frank?
Actually, I was so fortunate because they contacted me. Hollywood contacted me and said, because my book had just come out. They had read it, and they also heard me speak. A director heard me speak in an event. And after the event came and said, I've never saw audience reaction like I've seen with you, and we want to make a movie about your life. And I said, no, you don't. And they said, yes, we do. I thought they meant a documentary. And he said, no, a feature film. And it was just chance. I mean, it's nothing I ever searched for. It's just the right place at the right time.
Wow. So sometimes you just got to be ready for that opportunity when it falls in your lap. All right. I like that. Richard Villasana, Forever Homes for Foster Kids, asks, how important is it to reunite kids with their family?
Oh, I think very important. Oh, my gosh. So much of this human trafficking that's going on right now. And during my years as a detective, I became involved with some of that. And it was a bunch of ladies from China that were smuggled into the United States and put into prostitution, in fact, here in Arizona. And when we broke up that ring and got them back to their families, we got the video, just to see that reaction of these poor young girls being back with the families. And that goes on in the United States, not just these children from China, but all over the United States.
60% of sex trafficking victims in the United States come from foster care. I don't know if you all know that, but it is a big problem that I definitely am putting my resources to be able to help solve. Vernon asks, what advice would you give on setting up a nonprofit board? What should I be looking for in board members? This is a great question.
Yeah, Vernon, look for people with a great big Rolodex. If anybody remembers what Rolodexes are, you want to get people on your board, number one, that believe in your mission, that want to support your mission, but also have all of these contacts, because nonprofit, obviously, don't be afraid to ask. If you're afraid to ask for anything, you shouldn't be in the nonprofit world. But get those board members that can go out to the community and say, we need help with this, we need help with that. Not only financial donations, but putting on events, putting on fundraiser, keynotes, whatever it could be. Big Rolodex, and make sure they believe in your mission.
I love it. So make sure they're on the same mission as you and they know a lot of people. That's going to definitely be helpful.
Yep.
This is a really great question that came in. Jay Bonner asked, what would you say to those who are on the fence regarding sharing their time and volunteering for a nonprofit? What advice would you give them to get over their internal hurdles and move forward?
Well, again, Make-A-Wish, for an example. There are over, I think now, 10,000 volunteers worldwide for Make-A-Wish. If it wasn't for volunteers, it would never happen, because the staff just can't do everything there is. An example for Make-A-Wish, again, we have what we call our wish granters. There's a child that is eligible for a wish. The wish granters, which are volunteers, go interview that child and the family. In fact, they have the training it's almost like a forensic interview for children, to learn what that wish is, to make sure it's the wish of the child and not the family. But if it wasn't for those volunteers doing that, we couldn't have a Make-A-Wish Foundation, because the staff in each city, state, whatever it is, there's not enough staff to handle all that. But again, something you want to get involved in. Like I said on 8 boards, and it's all volunteer time. But I believe in what they're doing. I want to give back as much as I can and make sure it's something that you feel good about doing.
I love it. I mean, that's the thing that I think with everything that we're got going on right now, if we just found a way to just build our dream team of the people that like do it in certain areas, and they could volunteer their time, they could collaborate in some way, create a good win-win scenario. That's how you get more volunteers. That's what I've noticed, right? I have no problem finding contributors in our platform because they're getting free advertising at the same time by their sharing their resources and education to us. So a great tip, if you want to get people to plug into what you're doing on a volunteer way, find people, again, that are just super excited on the mission that you're on. That's an easy way to create some wins. And then the win-win scenario, find a way to say, hey, you love to do this. You can do this all day, and you're helping us on our side here. So great, great resources. That is our time for today. I really thank you for coming in, Frank. It's always a blessing to have you. What I want you guys to do, for you watching right now, text in the keyword wish. You see this message that's been scrolling at the bottom of the screen here. You're going to be able to get connected to Frank, what he's got going on, learn about Level Up Seattle, his nonprofit helping foster kids, learn more about what he's doing with his book and his projects. Is there any kind of special projects you're working on right now, Frank?
I've got 2 possible TV series in the works.
Ooh, all right.
One is called Wishman Angel Patrol. It's a reality series, and another one is a new modern day Western, Old Nevada. So we're on producing those right now, which is taking my time, and it's a lot of fun.
That's what I'm talking about. All right, so stay connected with that as well. So all you got to do is text in wish, and then I'm going to pick one person who texts in wish within the next 24 hours to win $1,000 in Manny Bucks. So definitely get connected. Any last words you want to say for our audience, Frank?
No, just if you want to contact me, find out what's going on, book me for speaking events. My website is Wishman1, the number 1, wishman1.com. We're starting to pick up schedules again. I'm so fortunate in 2016 to be identified as the Forbes number 1 keynote speaker, which is very flattering. So, like I say, we're starting to book right now into 2021 for speaking events again.
Wishman1. Gotta love technology, huh? This stuff is easy peasy. All right. So you guys that are watching right now, if you're not in Network of Influence, I'm going right back into some open networking right now. So I hope you guys are seeing that. But for those just watching on Facebook, I see a lot of our Facebook peeps in here. Join us at Network of Influence. Text registered to the number that you see right here. And this will get you into our event. Come join us for some networking. And thanks for having us today, Frank. Thanks for joining us. It's been a pleasure to have you, brother. So thank you, brother. Have a good one.
All right. Thank you, Manny. So long.
All right. Awesome.